Hello! Well, this is a video I did not want to have to make. Again, like I mentioned in that other video, I prefer to just make videos about fun stuff and to show what I'm doing day to day on Top Gear America or otherwise. But what's happening right now is that I'm going around and around with DJI tech support. And I made that video about the music sort of jokingly, but this is serious. So I'm a professional operator. I have two Inspire 2s, almost countless DJI Air units and other things from DJI. I'm currently just started flying this, which is my third Inspire 2. The first two I bought used. One of them came with Cinema DJI ProRes license, which was awesome. And using that, I got a lot of footage like this. Which is much better quality and just delivers a much more amazing picture when working on a show like this. And once the editors started seeing that footage, they got hooked on it, and that's what they want me to shoot. So even though the files are a lot bigger, that's what I shoot. It's ProRes. So about probably 6 to 8 weeks ago, I'll put dates on here. I didn't check on my dates before I started talking here, but that's maybe 8 weeks ago. This Inspire started acting funny. It just sort of started lurching around, especially when it was close to the ground. It would just jump off sideways 3 or 4 feet, flying funny up high. And then at one point it started toilet bowling. It only did that once, but that's all I needed, because I'm on set, recording around a bunch of people, around Dax Shepard, like Rob Corddry, Jethro Bovingdon. My stuff's got to work just right, and damn it, it's an Inspire 2. It's supposed to work right. So anyway, I brought out my backup, and I sent in this original one that had the ProRes and Cinema DJI licenses on it. They worked on it for a bit. They said that they replaced the GPS unit, the main board. Here, I'll list all the things here. I forget what all they replaced, but it was $1,400. The repair. Got it back, launched it. It flew better than it was, but still funny. It still doesn't fly right. It's still just really constantly correcting itself in really funny ways. And when I pulled out the other one, the backup that I had, it flew like a rock. Then what happened is I realized that I was going to fly this anyway, because it was flying okay because it had the ProRes on it. And I went to launch it, no ProRes. So whatever DJI did at their repair facility, they replaced the board with the ProRes in it, and now it's got no ProRes or Cinema DJI on here. So I go into that authorization process and it says, put in your Cinecore serial number. So I do that, no joy. So I get on with tech support. The emailing and chatting is the best you can do with those guys, or if you get somebody on the phone, they never seem to know what you're talking about. So I have this email chain. I'll show you some screenshots of this email chain that goes on and on and on. And for the past 6 or 8 weeks, I've been going, I think it's 6 weeks, I've been going around and around with these guys where they say, it seems like each person I speak to has never heard, doesn't have any way of looking back through the case, etc., etc. So cut to, I'm still waiting for resolution on this. I'm flying my backup because this one that they repaired still isn't working properly. And something happened during a shot and I ended up having a catastrophic crash with the backup that never had ProRes on it. So I immediately ordered a new Inspire 2. So now I have a brand new Inspire 2, which I just flew yesterday on its maiden voyage. It flies great. The original one that I now again have to send back in for repair since I have a solid backup, the one that had ProRes on it is going back in for repair, still doesn't have ProRes on it. So I've been asking DJI, please make an exception. Since you're gonna have to put that license somewhere, transfer it to my new one that I just bought. So what they're telling me is I have to show proof of purchase for the ProRes Cinema D and G license. But since I bought that drone used from an individual, I don't have that proof of purchase. And I haven't been able to get in touch with the guy. So the only proof I have is the footage that has been on the show, as well as the fact that they should have somewhere the Cinecore chip motherboard that they pulled out of the drone, presumably discarded. So DJI should have that serial number. But they're putting it on me to prove that I had it, even though they removed it while they were servicing my drone. And it's literally the email chain, it just goes on and on and on and on and around and around and around, and nothing happens. I'll show you some screenshots of a few of the emails. It's ridiculous. So the next thing that happened with DJI service is I started having gimbal problems on one of my controllers. Well, that controller, which I'm showing you a picture of here, actually had a mod on it so that I could use quick connector cables and connect to a range extender, which gives me a good bit of extra range in certain situations, and I like to use it. And it also cost me quite a bit of money to get that done. So that controller had gimbal problems. I sent them the controller to get the gimbal fixed, and this is what they sent me back. A brand new controller. This is not the controller I sent them. What they did is they just replaced my controller with this one. See how it's still got plastic on it and everything. And now it's got antennas instead of my antenna mod that I had. So I immediately wrote to them and said, hey, okay, now again, I've now shot probably 10 episodes of Top Gear America since this, where I no longer have the ability to use my antenna range extender because of their service department. And again, around and around with the emails and the chats, and that's it. They're just like, oh, we'll look into it. Oh, thank you. I'll forward this to the appropriate department. It's unbelievable. I think I'm gonna have to say, if you can find an alternative to DJI drones, if you're a professional, for God's sake, do it. Let's find a better way. I mean, I know we have the Alta and things like that, but in this range where I don't necessarily need to step up to an Alta, I wouldn't mind it, but we're talking a whole different level of everything for these types of gigs. And the Inspire 2 is just so good, but I tell you what, DJI is the absolute worst with service. I've explained to them, what kind of professional work I'm doing, and how many of their products I've bought and how much I've spent and everything, and yeah, it just goes nowhere. So I'm giving DJI support the biggest possible 2 thumbs down that I can give them, and I'm absolutely just disgusted with their lack of professionalism and lack of customer service. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Okay, just to summarize, there's one other important point here that makes no sense about DJI's policy. So they're insisting basically that if you own the ProRes license, if you have paid $1,000 for this ProRes Cinema D&G license, it's non-transferable, ever. So what they're saying is, I bought this drone with a Cinema D&G ProRes license on it, and it's malfunctioning. I sent it in to be fixed, and during that time, while they have it in repair, even though I'm a professional working on a TV show, they will not transfer that license to my working drone. They will not. They could, but they won't. Now, even though they screwed up and didn't properly fix, they didn't properly test, obviously, the drone when they sent it back to me, because it still doesn't perform properly. So while that drone was misbehaving, I sent them multiple emails and had communications. I think I also had some phone calls with them asking, while this is not behaving properly, while you guys are working on it, can you please put this ProRes license on my other? No, we don't do that. Well, how about now, since you have now cost me more than 6 weeks of production time where I've had to record H.264 instead of ProRes because of DJI's fault and mishandling of this situation. Well, now I've bought a brand new Inspire, and I got the coverage plan on it and everything. How about now? Now that I'm still going through this process of sending the original one that had the ProRes license on it back to DJI. It's in the mail right now, headed back to them for another attempt at repairing what they were supposed to repair the first time. How about now? Will you put it on this brand new one? No. Here's the email from them. And once again, I will say, can I speak to someone here? Like, I'm in California, where the service center is in Cerritos. Why do I have to have an email with someone in China? I'm trying to figure out how this policy makes sense. Why would DJI have a policy that says that a ProRes license is absolutely 100% non-transferable? I'll let you know if anything comes of this. Like and subscribe.